Humans have long hunted other animals in order to survive. However, in the last few hundred years, we've developed the capacity to wipe out other species in staggering numbers. Modern firearms allow a single hunter to take down many animals in relative safety, when previously a human hunter endured great danger to kill just a single one. These are the 10 animals humans hunted into extinction. The passenger pigeon suffered, in part from its own commonality. It was so numerous that hunting it to extinction seemed as likely as hunting cockroaches to extinction. Moreover, the passenger pigeon could be a pest. They gathered in huge flocks and were detested for the damage they caused to crops. But passenger pigeons were primarily killed for food, not as pest extermination. By 1870, there was a healthy commercial trade in passenger pigeon meat, and the bird's tendency to gather in large numbers merely made them more vulnerable to human hunters. The last known kill in the wild occurred in 1900, and the last known passenger pigeon died in the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914. The Atlas bear inhabited the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. This 9-foot-long, 1,000-pound bear was prized by the Romans in Africa 2,000 years ago for gladiatorial appearances. There, they might be hunted as a spectacle, or they could be starved and released on condemned prisoners. Although they continued to be hunted up until the late 19th century when they vanished, there is no known pelt or skeleton preserved for study or display. The Thylacine, sometimes known as the Tasmanian wolf because of its shape, or a Tasmanian tiger because of its stripes, was the world's largest carnivorous marsupial in modern times. In Tasmania, however, the Thylacine was blamed for numerous attacks on European sheep herds and poultry farms. Companies and eventually the government put out bounties on the creatures to control their numbers. The scheme worked too well. The last known kill in the wild happened in 1930, and the last known captive Thylacine died in 1936. The sea mink is a much larger version of the American mink. Reaching 3 feet in length, the sea mink's pelt was twice as large as that of its cousin. This made them a huge prize for hunters who took them both for food and fur. It went extinct sometime in the second half of the 19th century. The Bubal hartebeest was a large antelope which lived throughout North Africa. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics included a symbol meaning baby hartebeest, suggesting its importance there. It's possible the Egyptians domesticated the animal and used it for sacrifice. The Bubal hartebeest disappeared rapidly as European colonies set up shop in the area. The London Convention of 1933, in an early attempt at conservation among colonial powers, attempted to protect these animals, although it's entirely possible they were already extinct by that point anyway. Still, it's the thought that counts. Steller's sea cow was a 30-foot-long close relative of the manatee, which likely weighed between 8 and 10 tons. Despite its size, it would come on land dragging itself with its front flippers. Fossil records suggest this sea cow was originally plentiful in the North Pacific. However, they were already severely endangered when Steller found them, as they were hunted to the verge of extinction by Aboriginal people. A sea cow's carcass provided meat, skins, and quality lamp oil, making it a valuable commodity. And by 1768, it was extinct. The quagga is a type of zebra, although it looks like a cross between a zebra and a horse. The front of the creature has brown and white stripes, while the back is plain brown. It was native to South Africa and was hunted both for its meat and for its hide, which Europeans traded to locals. It also may have competed with the Europeans' domesticated animals for foraging, which would have only encouraged hunters to rid the area of what would have been seen as pests. The last known quagga in the wild died in 1878. The last captive one lived until 1883. The Barbary lion, also known as the Atlas lion, was found in North Africa, particularly in the area of the Atlas Mountains. They were among the largest of lions and have been prized since at least the Roman Empire for their fierceness. Like the Atlas bear, the Barbary lion was captured by Romans and forced to fight for sport in the arenas. Humans continued to put pressure on the Barbary lions for centuries. When the Europeans took over the area, they cleared the lion from settled areas and continued to pursue it into the wilderness for sport. The fate of the Barbary lion is somewhat in question. A few may have survived into the wilderness until the 1960s. Several zoos claim to have purebred Barbary lions, but this is highly contested. More likely, they are hybrids of Barbarys and non-Barbarys. So far, No genetics tests have suggested that a purebred Barbary still exists, and the species has been lost to history. The great auk lived in the North Atlantic. Although it was a flightless bird with black and white features, standing 2 to 3 feet tall, it was not your typical penguin. The great auks had been hunted since the Stone Age, and they started facing real trouble in the 16th century when they started being hunted in large numbers for their downy feathers. Great Britain actually made this illegal in the 18th century, a very early example of government conservation. However, it wasn't illegal to kill the birds for other purposes. Great auk eggs were also valuable, first for eating and then for collecting. So by that point, it was too late to save the great auk. Some of the very last auks were killed as scientific specimens. The last live great auk was spotted in 1852, never to be seen again. The Caribbean monk seal is mentioned in the records of Christopher Columbus when his soldiers killed 8 of them. Going forward, the seals were a regular target for hunters, which sold the oil in their blubber for lamp fuel and machinery grease. The seals were known to congregate in the hundreds on beaches, making them easy targets. Still, this species somehow managed to survive at least until 1952. It was placed on the list of endangered species in 1967, but it most likely by that time was already extinct, making the effort a pointless gesture. For more top lists like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to check out our other lists, and we'll see you all next time.